G'day, my name's Mark Knights. I'm going to spend a bit of time here today actually showing you how to use a bit of Realmworks. Realmworks is a program via the Wolf Lair or the same people that do Hero Lab. And it's basically campaign management software, which is really cool stuff. Now, as I'm going to be reviewing the Players Edition of this soon, I actually want to get myself up a realm so that I can do that. And I'm going to do this with my 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons realm, which I haven't actually done with Realmworks yet. So, I've got Realmworks, the latest version, loaded onto my machine. Click to open. Realmworks featuring Fog of World. I like that. Sounds cool. Anyway, so here we are. We put in my password, which I nearly always get wrong. So let's try again. Click on login. You can work offline with Realmworks, so it's not something that you have to be connected to the internet with, although something with the play, if you're going to have a player's version of it, then you want to be connected to the internet. Now this is the home page, but I'm going to go to my realms. You can see I've got quite a few realms working here. I've got Mance on the Moors, which is a module that I'm working on. Near future, I'm thinking about running a Traveller game next year based on Near Future. I've started work on that. Crucible was going to be my 5th edition world, but I'm not going to use it anymore. So I've got some details in there, and Bethune was the Traveller system that I worked this year. So you can see it's quite a versatile system. It can work in both Traveller, sort of sci-fi, it can work in Call of Cthulhu, it can work in D&D, it can work in whatever sort of game system you want. So I'm going to create a new realm today, and I'm going to call this I haven't worked out a name for the world yet, but I'm currently reading the Dungeons and Dragons Dungeon Master Guide, so I can review that shortly. And I'm quite enjoying it, and so a lot of the material that I've got here today, so essentially that's what I'm working from. I've got my wonderful notebook that I've got a load of notes in, and we'll just cover some brief sort of stuff so you can see how this helps us work it out, various stuff. So we'll create this new realm. Okay, so quickly it'll set it up. It's communicating to the back-end servers, so the servers that Realmworks has set up for this material, so it saves it there, and I'll also have an offline copy saved to my machine. So it now comes up, we've got the 5e realm, and we're going to open that selected realm. Now essentially this is just a database system that works to essentially have all of your details, but it just works really well for role-playing games, and it really gives you a broad set of information. So we have a story almanac, which is pretty much where it's set. We've got the welcome to the 5e realm, so I'm going to put in a introduction. I'm going to edit it, so as soon as I click on edit, all of these things become available. Realm introduction, so this is the new world, seeing I did start in a more Grecian world, but I've actually created my own deities and all that sort of stuff. I've created my own calendar, which I can't actually stick into Realmworks yet, but over time they say that the calendar is going to be something that you can implement. You can see it's pretty much basic while we're editing, basic word processing documents sort of stuff up here. You can insert tables, symbols, all that sort of stuff. So this is the new world for my 5th edition D&D campaign. I haven't really mapped anything out, so the important places aren't quite there yet. Important characters aren't there. The important plot elements. Now, I worked through this. Now I'm working through the DMG, and I'm testing out the bits and pieces, and they leap straight into campaign play. And so I'm having a look at the way that they do that, and they want some kind of world-shaking event. And I got that it was an extinction or a depletion. Now the extinction that is going to occur is actually there happens to be an extinction of bears, believe it or not. So I'm going to have an extinction of bears is the starting point for this campaign arc. The bears do not come out of hibernation, which causes our rangers and druids a bit of concern. So there's obviously some interesting stuff going on there. House rules you can include in here, but essentially I'm done. So I just need to click the save material, and that's saved. And that's just the welcome screen. So I've got the story almanac. You can add bits and pieces to it. You can actually customize all the way that this actually looks, but this is the base way that it looks. You got your world almanac, so you've got stuff from a world perspective and you've got stuff from a story perspective, and you can keep both of them and create links to them, but I'll show you links in a moment. You've also got your mechanics reference, so if you want to add some gameplay, or you have a particular trap, or you need some game mastering, how to run this campaign, characters and various sorts of stuff like that. All there. You've got a storyboard. Now the storyboard itself, okay, we would have our own screen here and it actually works like a flow diagram, but I'm not getting down to that quite yet. So we have that, and we also have, let's go back to our home, World Almanac. Right, now I'm going to start off with the World Almanac because I've created some stuff for my world. Now, what I've created so far is basically some gods. So I'm going to create some people. So we click on the add for a for a person, or a people, or a god, being an entity, a deity, collective force of nature, or any other being that transcends being merely an individual. So we have different details here. Got a cast list, so if we're working from the story perspective, an entity or an individual. So I'm going to go with an entity and we're going to create it. Okay, now it skips directly across there. I don't have any pictures, but once I find a nice picture, or I draw myself a nice picture, and if any of you know anything about my artistic capabilities, I'm not going to be drawing myself a nice picture. But we have some details here, and you can see that written into these, and it's probably hard to see on the screen, but essentially there are a few things here. So we have an overview. Summary picture, how entity fits into world campaign, its role. So we're going to, up the top, give this entity a name, and we'll start with Rena. Okay. Now Rena, well, actually, this is essentially the human deities that I'm actually putting into my gods here, and what actually happened is they're more forms of energy rather than what do they call it? Homogenized? No, homogenized? No. Rather than essentially having humanoid characteristics placed on them, these are actually energies of a form. Rena is an energy that is married to another energy called Polydec, and essentially the way that I wanted to organize my deities is that I wanted them to be able to have a group of deities that offer the domains that are part of D&D, and then those deities get together and form new energies, and essentially they become weaker energies that offer new domains, or not new domains, but a different mix of the domains, and they break down again into further energies so that there is an entity with one domain each. So essentially these top two levels, which is Rena and I have Polydec, entities that have 3 domains each. Now there are 7 domains in D&D. There's life, nature, light, tempest, war, knowledge, and trickery. Now Rena is it's a patriarchal energy in this. It's not got the humanized versions of it, but it is a patriarchal energy with the domains of life, nature, and light, which is the patriarchal roles in this particular realm that I'm dealing with. Profile. The gods are energies rather than humanized elements, and they are prayed, not prayed as in eaten, but prayed to by their worshippers in an abstract manner. Rena is the source energy for the life, nature, and light. Domains. Okay. Now, story, I'm not going to actually attach anything story-wise. Motivation and philosophy. These are too alien to place specifics on. Though the entities do have their own agendas. So that gives me room to open those agendas up later on. Relationships is partnered with holodeck. Okay. Resources, mastery of the nature, life, and light domains. And we've got some other stuff, but essentially that's what I want, so I'm going to save that. Now, holodeck. Okay, this is the other god. Now I'm highlighting it and I'm going to create a new custom link. Okay, so I'm going to create that, and it's going to be a new person, a new entity, and we're going to create it called holodeck. Okay, so we're going to save this now, and okay, so holodeck went into the wrong almanac. So move topic to world almanac, and there's holodeck there. Okay, so I can click on that and that's created me a file for it. So I'm going to edit this file. So holodeck is the matriarchal of this realm for the human pantheon. Okay, her profile involves it is the energy of tempest, war, and knowledge. Domains. Story, I'll add some material in there, motivation and philosophy. Holodeck has her own agenda, but it is seen as quite alien from a human's perspective. Relationships, partner of Rena Phil and partner of Rena Phil, and combined to form some other Xeno Thar, Fenrical, Deal Ante, and Ruin Thay. Okay, so I'm actually going to copy this, and we're going to, actually what we'll do first is we'll come in here and we're going to create a new custom link for this, and we want to change it to world topic, so that's where I went wrong here. And we're going to make a new entity, we're going to create that. Okay, so click on OK there, Fenrical, okay, create a new custom link. Okay, and we're going to add that in there. It's another entity, we create it. Okay, and in here, same again, except I've clicked the wrong one. There we go, click new custom link. And Dial Ante didn't go through properly, so we'll have to have a look at that. Okay, we go there, world topics, and we're going to go OK, entity, create, OK, okay, now Dial Ante, might remove that link. I'll select a new link target. So we're going to add one, entity, create, Dial Ante. Okay. So we have that there, and we've got other entities that I want to put in. Now I want to show you something that's really super cool. Okay, so I'm going to go back into, I'm going to save this. Now you can see here, when I clicked on save, it picked up that this Rena Vel exists. And so it's saying, hey, we've got this Rena Vel, and we've noticed that that's another entity. Would you like us to create the link? Now you can go create all instances, because sometimes when you write through this material, you might write a big story about how Holodeck and Rena Vel are working together to, I don't know, create the masses of undead that are going to eat the player's face off at some stage, or whatever. You might write a big story, and Rena Vel might come up in it quite a bit, and you can click on this create all instances, which I'll do. And that will pick out every instance of Rena Vel that's on the page and create a link to it. Now you can see here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Rena Vel. So we're going to go control click, and it takes me to Rena Vel straight away. We're going to edit that. Okay, is partnered with Holodeck, but we know that Rena Vel and Holodeck came together too. Okay, created or came together with Holodeck to create the entities, and I don't want them to think that this is sort of like a sexualized sort of reproduction, because in essence, after they create the first four then just split their own capabilities into two again and create new entities from them. So you can see how it bases and goes down. Now, came together with Holodeck to create the entities of Xenothar. So, Xenothar. Again, Fenrical. Okay. Dial Ante. And Ruin Thay. Okay, again I'm going to just click save here, and what it does is goes, hang on, there's Holodeck again, so we'll create all instances of that. Xenothar, hang on, create all instances, create all instances, create all instances. And what we've got is it builds up these links. So everything that you do here creates these links. Now I can create it so I can make the things visible to players, and by clicking on these little blue dots, which is essentially, are these sections visible to players? So I can go Rena is. So my player will be able to research Rena. I can say, yep, patriarchal, and Renevel's that. I'm not going to put in about the motivation and philosophy because I don't want them to know how alien but that they do have their own agendas. I want them to be these strange archetypal forces that they pray to. Thank goodness Renevel's there so we can have our nature, and blessed be us with the nature of, he's a moose, so let's bless Renevel for the moose. But I will include these relationships. Okay, so there are these relationships here. Now, if I don't make Polodec or Xenothar or Fenrical, etc., visible, then it will have this as a non-linkable just piece of information that the players can see. So we'll do that. We'll go home. Now the player view is stuff that we can do here. Now we haven't got anything into the player view, so we're going to show some content. We're going to put Renevel there. Okay, so Dialante needs some work. Okay, Renevel is public. So you can also see happening down the side. By the way, the player view back here, I don't know why it wanted me to do Dialante. So content shown, we've got nothing at the moment, but I believe that we can go here and we can show this on the player view. Show in player view. Okay, so here we are in the player view now. Here's the player preview, player view, whatever, and it's got, here's the patriarchal energy of the domains of life, nature, and light. Profile the gods of energy is partnered with Polodec and came together with Polodec to create the energy Xenothar, Fenrical, Dialante, and Ruin Thane. Now, Dialante. Okay, we'll go back to our world almanac. We'll go to Dialante. It's because Dialante's got the green dot. Okay, so that's why it was giving me the extra stuff. So if I come back to player view, I've taken that out at the moment. I'll show some more content. We're going to show Renevel. Okay, and there it is there without the link now. Okay, so the players can use that, and if you're running a game, you could actually put details like that up. You could put maps up, you can put all those sorts of things, and if you have a screen sitting next to your game master screen, then you can show them what's going on. All of this sort of stuff is quite easy to put in. I'm going to, I've got quite a few details. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a lot of this source material in here, and then I'm going to come back after I've got a couple of maps and stuff like that. I might actually show how to put the maps up and stuff like that, and I'll show you some of the other cool things that are there about it. But you can see that this is really nice. All you need to start building up. We've got other things in here in groups. I'll show you a few of the different bits and pieces. Okay, so we're in World Almanac, but the World and the Story Almanac are the same. The Story governs your ongoing campaign. Your world is more details that are worldly based. So that's why I've got my gods and stuff like that in there. If I had NPCs like the king or something like that that wasn't a part of the story but existed, I could put them in here. Overall groups. Okay, so let's say I want to create a new group. Okay, we've got a group, we've got a commerce group, you've got criminal groups, so you have thieves guilds, stuff like that, or smugglers in Traveller. Ethnic groups, you've got family groups, you've got government groups. There's more to go. We've got military, we've got other groups, we've got religious groups now. I'm not going to do that, but sources. Okay, GM synopsis, player synopsis. So you can have stuff for the player that gives them some information about certain details and more information in the GM synopsis. A story source, so we might be going, okay, this is based on the adventure path Skull and Shackles or something like that. Our people we've already sort of had a brief look at, but we'll go through a cast list, so you can actually create a cast list where you can stick your individuals and stuff like that into them, and you can have all your main important ones in a singular cast list. So you can just click on it, and that's where all your details are, whilst all of the background sort of people can be in a different sort of list. So that's quite handy to have, and you've got individuals. We've got places. Better cancel that. Okay, so we have an adventure area, a community, a location, merchants, planetary body, or celestial. So celestial stuff that we could use for planes. The adventure area is sort of like, hey, look at this. Here's a dungeon or something similar. The community. Okay, these are all sort of hierarchical. So you have your adventure area and you place locations inside your adventure area. So say you have a dungeon with 12 rooms. Okay, you put 12 locations and attach them to the adventure area, and then you can just click on each individual location. The merchant, planetary bodies, there are more as we go down. We've got dimensional regions, we've got geographical regions, we've got political regions and urban regions. Okay, so quite a bit to play with. Each of these sorts of things comes up with different suggestions on how you can add material to it, and it really suggests the way. Okay, so when I click edit here, all of these little grayed out things that sit inside of them, they disappear as soon as you click on them, but they give you an idea on how you can embellish and make it really quite an exciting living campaign world. So we've done places. Let's have a look at things. Things, we've got an inhabitant, named equipment, named object, named vehicles, object collection, thing list. Okay, so you can create a list of things. So you might have your rings in one thing list, or your your laser guns in a list of laser weapons and stuff like that, or inhabitants, so flora or fauna, so monsters and creatures, named equipment, perhaps intelligent artifacts or things like that. Really quite cool stuff. In our events, okay, we've got an event list, so you can organise them. You can have an incident, a quest, so you can track these. Incidents might be, random encounter, or even a major event, or stuff like that. You can have a scene, okay, just a quick scene, or a portion of the storyline. So that's the storyline itself is where you combine everything together to get sort of like a flowed area or a time period. Okay, and certain things happen in that time period. Now we've got a timeline up here which you can use. They only have the Gregorian calendar at the moment. I'm really hanging out to use that material once they give us support to calendars, which they're going to do. And then in our other, we've got a concept or some further information or just sort of stuff, package starting point, plot hooks, plot ideas, those sorts of things, title positions, these bits and pieces. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it there for the time being. You can see there's a lot of detail here. You've got your mechanics. I've done a few with those. You can actually run the game session, and while you're running the game session, this can be your resources as a game master. Okay, so we begin the game session, and I as a game master start flicking through it, working through a particular storyboarded information. Let me go to my realms. So I'm going to switch realms now. So we're going to close my realm, and I'm going to bring up my Mans and the Laws. Okay, just before we nip out, I'll give you a bit of a taster for what other things that we've got here. Now here you can see I've got loads of material, and this is a module I've been working on for quite some time. I'm quite excited to deal with as well. Let's see what we can come up with. You can see here that I actually have a Hero Lab implementations. Okay, I need to update Hero Lab before that'll work. I'll do that before I do the next tutorial, but you can see stuff here. I'm going to go to my storyboard, and we're going to have a look at the overall plot flow. and I've got it brings you up all these little hints and tips, etc. when you go to various things, and I love them, so I just keep them there, but you can turn them off. So here are the things. So we've got um, the manse on the moors, priestess Finn's missing, we've got actions, so we've got little bits and pieces of the stuff that we've just seen, so these are scenes, and we've got other things. Now, the ones that are sort of like in loose circles are things that I haven't actually done yet, but say I want to go action, okay, so I've got my overall plot flow still there in the background, but say okay, we're into the action. Read or paraphrase the following. Here we are. We've got some details. We've got a bar brawl going on, and this material is all here and all linked, so I can find out about this sort of stuff. So they go, oh, the Church of Hebe. What's that all about? So I click on the Church of Hebe, and here it is. And I can use the backwards and forwards buttons to move through, or I can go to the home and say, welcome to Manse on the Moors, and here we are. So it's just really an easy way to move through and create details. It shows on every page. So we'll go to Edenridge. Okay, it shows us all the links that we can do. So here's another option of maneuvering around all of your information. So Esther Finn is a link to this thing, and I want to find out a bit more about her. Limestone Caves. Now I want to keep Esther Finn, and I'm going to view that in a new tab. So we've got this tabbed setting up here, and all of these sort of bits and pieces are just really brilliantly and cleverly made. And you can see that over in the left hand corner of our screen, okay, let's go to the story, that there's this hierarchical views. Okay, so we've got the Borden Mountain Range. This is under our places. And in the Borden Mountain Range we have Edenridge, and within Edenridge I have the Church of Hebe, and the Church of Hebe is run by Esther Finn, who has control of the clerics of Hebe and Jonty Turduk. And you can see that this hierarchical thing can just be clicked or shut down or opened or whatever, so you can visually see the links over here. We've got our events all laid out over here, so I can say these are the details and this is how we run it, and we've got all these bits and pieces that we can add. So this is a special piece of software. It is really impressive. I really suggest you sort of get into it. I'm really sort of quite excited about this software. It may not have come through as clearly as I hope this video does, but hopefully it does. Now I'm going to do a few tutorials for this sort of thing over a bit of time. I hope you sort of go and have a look at this software. As a GM, it's invaluable. As a player, I'm not sure yet. I can enter player mode now, which is cool, but I've got nothing on the player view screen at the moment, so I don't want to be there because it gives me nothing, really. Okay, see all of this sort of stuff, none of it's actually set up to be visible. So, welcome to Manse on the Moors, we'll make that visible, and I've got that material there now. So, get out there, have a look at it. I'll review the player's mode shortly and have some details. I'm also going to do some more tutorials once I get some more content up in the 5th edition stuff. It'll work nicely hand in hand with my review of the DMG as well. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.